Yeah. So what are the thoughts on this news? Came out, was it Saturday morning, I believe, Saturday afternoon?
So
Friday night.
I think
Was it Friday night?
Yeah,
No, I'm talking about publicly.
Yeah.
Bluff City Media.
Yeah, Bluff
put it
City
out
Media
on
got
Friday.
to it.
When everybody jumped on board was Saturday,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay. So I'm just speaking for the masses.
And by the way, just quick sidebar.
yeah, go for it.
When I had the chance to work with you and with Kenny and with the people at Bluff City Media, I hopped at that opportunity.
Yeah.
Regardless of the opportunity. Because I know what type of people work here, the integrity that the people work here have, and the work ethic that the people that work here have. And it was just strange to see the questioning and the
validity.
People just consistently trying to act as if Bluff City Media is not this reputable source. It's just nuts to me.
Yeah.
You've how long have you been in this market? How long have I been in this market? Sane, how long has he been in this market?
Time.
How long has Kenny been doing things like this in this market with
Right.
it? There just comes a point where I'm not saying anyone has to confirm anybody. I don't give a damn about that. I really don't. Like, I've talked to you about that off air.
Yeah.
But in the end of the day, this source right here, if you hear it from Bluff City Media and it's breaking, it has gone through several damn checks.
Right.
There's been a check mark here. Oh, let's confirm with this source on this deal. Let's confirm with this source on this deal. If it gets to damn Twitter and there's a story written about it and a podcast published about it,
It's legit.
You bet your ass it is legitimate. So,
Yeah.
that is the first thing I have to say. Also, the mudslinging back and forth doesn't help anybody.
No.
It makes everyone look like a jackass.
Correct.
So if you're
Yeah.
the Daily Memphis or the Commercial Appeal, or if you're at Bluff City Media and you're trying to go back and forth with people about who's breaking news and who's not, that just delegitimizes the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
So just stop doing that. The Scoop Wars shit this weekend was so annoyingly, it was monotonous, it was stupid, and it's just, we've dealt with this type of thing before in this city, and it's just, can everybody get over themselves? And then I also saw, I'm not naming names, but I saw somebody just different place altogether sort of throw out that, oh, I have integrity, and when they dropped this, they didn't think about what it would mean for Malcolm and what it would mean for the team, because that's not our job.
Right.
We report the details and the stories
Right.
that are put on our plate. We're not supposed to worry about how it's going to affect people.
No.
Like, if it's a story that needs to be written,
It has
that needs to be
to-
put out
right.
there, it has to do that. If you went through a journalism program, if you know the first thing about journalism,
There's no
it's like you're not
sugarcoating.
trying to do harm, but you can't sugarcoat stories that are out there that are going to come out at some point. So that was interesting to
Yeah.
me.
No,
it's like you're just sort of admitting that, like, it's like you're being a fan,
Right. No, it's always
and not a journalist.
It's always funny when big news comes out, because not every time, not even most of the time, but sometimes you have a lot of skepticism. Like when news is broken, and I'm totally not in this world anymore.
Right.
I don't.
In fact, I'm not going to speak for you and put words in your mouth. That was something you despised about the whole thing,
Right.
when you've
No.
had to do that
No,
consistently.
I've never been a fan of the breaking news stuff. I think if you're a young journalist trying to legitimize yourself, it is good for you to be able to break news and make a name for it for yourself.
But then don't
at
go back and forth with folks.
But at the same, don't go back and forth with folks. But at the same time, even if you are a young journalist trying to legitimize yourself and you're breaking news in a market where there's people that are established, you're probably not going to get that many eyes on you anyway, because it's going to be washed up and covered up by no one else pointing back to you. So the breaking news stuff, I just think it's old journalism. I really do. Like, I did an interview with Gary. What was that? Probably almost a year ago now. Kenny?
Yeah.
About a year ago, yeah.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about that.
Gary Parrish, by
Gary
the way,
Parrish, yes. And we talked a lot about that. And even him, someone who literally made his name from breaking news, is like, in this current landscape that we're in this Twitter universe, like, it's stupid. Nobody knows who did it anyway.
Yeah, because you know what happens is, okay, I get the story on a Friday night. By Saturday morning, every other publication has picked
Right.
it up and confirmed with their sources.
Exactly.
So it's like you're going to get the same
information
anyway.
Right. But
I understand people's skeptic, like when they talk about, don't just be first, get it right. But if it's right and everybody ends up with those same details, then why are we complaining about anything? Why is there even this big fracas and discussion about it at all?
I think the breaking news stuff in general is kind of stupid. I think it's even stupider to, like you're saying, do the mudslinging back and forth. I just think it makes no sense, and it's not constructive at all.
Well, I'm of the opinion, and this is how I feel if I'm scrolling through and I see these things. You could get a scoop on something, and I'm like, okay, legit.
Good for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
But if then you keep patting yourself on the back
just like
about it, if you keep patting yourself, yeah, great. Yeah. Oh, you tell people off for going after you in the moment. I think that delegitimizes it even more than you actually legitimized yourself by getting the scoop itself.
That and the chest thumping. Yeah,
it's like, don't do that.
Yeah, don't.
Just keep showing the work, and then you're good.
People will notice.
Yes.
People notice.
If you're someone who is always the first to the scoop, people will figure it out.
People know. 100%.
But you don't have to keep being like, well, I was first to the scoop. Just let the work speak for itself, and that's all you need.
Right.
That's all you need.
All right, Gabe, thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, thoughts on the actual
breaking news
story?
Yeah.
How do we break this down? Because I think there's a lot of different thoughts depending on who you're talking about it affecting. Let's start with Malcolm. Sad for him. I thought this was the best ball he played.
Yeah, for sure.
By far in his Memphis career. And the fact that he's 23 years old and a fifth-year senior, I figured he would have known better to get himself caught up in whatever this is. Don't have details, can just speculate at this point.
Let's say the investigation is going and it's alleged, right?
Yes, it's alleged. So, like, if there is something there, I'm annoyed that he likely acted like he didn't know better and put himself in this position. But, overwhelmingly, considering he was part of that first recruiting class out of Memphis East, where Penny came from, and he was really the last remaining one from all of that, the beginning of this whole thing, it's quite sad.
It is.
To see him,
it's not
let this whole thing implode on him.
It's a far cry from the storybook ending.
Yes, exactly.
For sure.
It's like the worst thing. It is literally the worst thing that could have happened to end his career potentially.
And then as far as on the University of Memphis basketball program, Penny Hardaway, thoughts on that? And once again, it's all alleged right now.
And I'm going to throw this back to you, and we'll have a discussion about this. Sure. But here's where I'm at. I know that the tendency of the fan base is to always come to the defense of the program. And I find myself, being an alum, doing that at times as well, and feeling like things that are slung on Penny Hardaway in this basketball program, I think they're unfair, and I try to speak up against them.
Yeah, go pull any clip of you and I talking about the preseason thought and early season thought of the University of Memphis, and you'll get the whole gist of what that means.
But when people talk about, you bring in guys that no school wants. You bring in guys with pasts. You find yourself in all these in hot water all the time. You have so much drama around the program. That's why we can't trust you. We can't give you the benefit of the doubt. Like those things, as much as I hate that being the narrative, you can't outrun that narrative. It's just true.
There's only
through 6 years now with Penny, if we're just talking about things that are NCAA
related,
investigatable or punishable, you have the IARP investigation with James Wiseman.
Yep.
You have Penny getting suspended 3 games to start this year for recruiting violations. You have potentially, if the investigation goes far and it's a struggle, it could be this Malcolm Dandridge thing. And then you keep throwing in Jordan Brown leaves the program and comes back. Mikey Williams gets caught with all these issues and the gun crimes in the offseason. Like, where else can I go with this? Like in the past. Amani Bates. That type of issue. Yeah. Like, as much as I...
J.J. Taylor as well.
Yeah, as much as I have tried to always protect and uphold the name of the University of Memphis and Penny in this program, I think in the end of the day, it's going to be nearly impossible to outrun this narrative. And I think that this narrative, it's way past just Penny Hardaway, like Calipari and Larry Finch. And like, you can keep going back. This has never been like a squeaky clean program. No. But through 6 years, this has been a lot of shit. A lot of shit.
Yeah. And this is the way that I'll frame it. The more that stuff happens, I would say as a fan base, as people that cover and typically do, protect and defend because we have our own opinions, it gets harder and harder to stick your neck out there the more that stuff happens. When the James Wiseman stuff happened in 2019, my neck was all the way out there.
Yes.
My neck was all the way out there. And as you kind of just feel a little bit like the boy who cried wolf, defending something that continues to happen. And when things continue to happen, it gets more difficult to defend, because it's like, where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, and we don't know all the details of this situation yet, so we can't say that this is set in stone and that this is legit or whatever. But when there's smoke, there's fire. And over 6 years, this is the third time the NCAA's gotten involved, and there's been countless other incidents, drama or whatever's going on behind the scenes that you could at least look at, and maybe we don't know the full story, but you can at least look at it and go, there's got to be something there. And so it just is like this recurring cycle, and the more it happens, the less you really want to go to bat for it, because you understand, like, okay, maybe something is going. I have no idea. Maybe something's going down.
There does come a point too where it's like, after the IARP investigation and really what happened at Memphis East, we can go back to like Penny at Memphis East and dealing with the TSSAA and shit. Like, there does come a point where you wanted Penny Hardaway to like, okay, let's learn the damn rule book. Like, let's try to, make sure everything is out there in the open and we're not getting in trouble for these things. And again, with Malcolm, like with academic stuff, I don't know how Penny can really do anything about that. Like, so I'm not blaming Penny.
No.
But like, I think as a CEO, like program manager, you're that guy at the top that everyone has to answer to. I just think you need to have more understanding of what's happening beneath you, what's happening around you, what's happening right under your nose. So that's the part of it where I think Penny over the years, and I'm not saying he's incapable of doing that now, but like, just learn to have these things managed, to manage these things better. He hasn't really shown the proclivity to do that, like to understand that. So that's another thing.
No, I agree.